Have you ever had to hold it in because you couldn't get to the bathroom on your own? Not because your bladder didn't give you a signal, but because your legs just didn't have the strength to carry you there safely. Millions of older adults face that exact situation every night. They wake up with pressure in their belly needing to get up. But the moment they swing a leg out of bed, a sudden cramp clamps down on their calf like an invisible rope pulling them backward. Not everyone talks about it, but there's a real fear that lives quietly in many seniors. The fear of losing control, the fear of having to call their children in the middle of the night just to help them use the toilet, the fear of hearing that familiar question, "Do you need help, sir?" and having to smile, say, "I'm fine," while their hand trembles on the bed frame. I understand. Because I've sat beside hundreds of older adults in physical rehab classes and listened to things their families have never heard. They don't complain. They just quietly ask, "Is there any way I can stop these nighttime cramps?" I remember Mary the most, a petite 78-year-old woman living alone in Northern California, thin and quiet, but her eyes still sparkled. She once told me, "I'm not afraid of pain. I'm afraid of the day I can't brush my own hair anymore." She shared that one night she sat at the edge of her bed with shampoo ready, but when she bent down to reach for the basin, her calf clenched in a painful cramp, so tight she could only gasp for breath. She didn't want to call her son, he was working a night shift, so she just sat there for nearly an hour, water turned cold beside her. No one ever knew, but the next morning she made a decision. "I'm going to do something from the inside." The last time someone else washed her hair was back in 2020. Since then, she'd only rinsed lightly because she couldn't bend down long enough. She told me, "It wasn't the water that made me cry. It was the feeling after all those months that someone was still caring for me." Mary's story isn't a miracle. It's the power of understanding. And that's exactly what I want to share with you today. This video is for you, the one who dreads standing up in the middle of the night, the one who silently suffers from cramps, the one who avoids asking for help just to use the bathroom, or feels ashamed when something simple becomes a struggle. Because freedom doesn't mean going far. Freedom is being able to get up when you need to without fear. Freedom is walking to the bathroom, washing your hands, brushing your hair, taking out the trash without feeling like a burden. And sometimes that kind of freedom begins with something very small, like the 3 types of food you're about to discover. They're not expensive. They're not rare, but they may be just enough to awaken tight muscles, calm your overworked nerves, and nourish your ability to move on your own again. If you've ever thought that leg cramps are just a normal part of aging, you're not alone. But you might be mistaken. Night cramps, tight calves, twitching feet. They're not just what happens when you get old. They're signals. Your body's way of saying, "I'm missing something. Please help me." The beautiful thing is, you can start helping your body today. No pills, no expensive devices, just food the right kind at the right time. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 easy-to-find foods that are incredibly effective in reducing cramps, muscle pain, and stiffness. The science behind how they support your nervous system and muscles. How to use them properly to get the best results even if you're over 70. And some important reminders to avoid common mistakes like eating them alongside inflammation-triggering foods or at the wrong time. At the end of the video, I'll highlight one key truth, something 90% of older adults overlook, which is why symptoms often come back even after improving their diet. If you feel what I'm about to share might be helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. That small act might just help someone like you reclaim their freedom within their own home. Now I understand. What I've just said may not be enough to earn your trust. Because after all these years of living with cramps, muscle aches, or nighttime anxiety, it's hard to believe that a few simple foods could truly make a difference. So instead of starting with science or listing benefits, I want to begin with a story. A true story about someone who once felt the same anxiety and helplessness you may feel now. Someone who no longer believed his body could recover. But then from a few small changes, something amazing happened. I'm not telling this story to inspire you. I'm telling it so you know change is real, and maybe you'll recognize a part of yourself in this story, a version of you filled with hope. Harold was 74 years old. He lived alone in a small 3-room log cabin on the outskirts of northern Ohio. He used to work for the railroads, a man who once stood for hours in the cold inspecting train wheels, climbing up and down the station stairs each day, and never once imagined he'd need help just to get to the bathroom. The radio by his windowsill still played the morning news. The thick work jacket hanging by the door was stained with engine grease, and Harold, the man with eyes the color of strong tea, still held a quiet pride. I can do everything myself. But one night late in October, as the cold began creeping in, Harold woke up needing to use the bathroom. He stepped out of bed, and without warning, a searing cramp locked up his left calf. It pulled him to the floor like an invisible rope had yanked him down. The cold floor, the helplessness in that brief moment, it made him too scared to even breathe deeply. He didn't yell, didn't call anyone. He just gritted his teeth, clamped his mouth shut, and dragged himself to the bathroom. The next morning, he quietly placed a rug next to his bed, said nothing to anyone. I just quietly did it. From that day on, he began to feel afraid. Not of the pain, but of the feeling that he no longer had control over his own body. Every time he stepped onto the porch, he looked at the wooden stairs as if they were a steep, rocky slope. He tried everything: hot ointments, massage, warm foot baths. He drank more water, ate extra bananas, and propped up his legs with pillows. But the cramps still came. No warning, no mercy. Then one day at a small gathering of the retirement group at church, he ran into Joanne, an old co-worker from the freight inspection station. She was 76, hair completely white, but her steps were light as a dry leaf. As he offered his hand to help her up, she whispered, "You get leg cramps too, huh? I had them almost every day for a whole year." He looked at her surprised. She smiled gently and said, "I didn't take medicine. I just changed what I ate. Avocado, sweet potatoes, pumpkin seeds. Nothing magical. I just believed that when you get old, you've got to take care of every little part of your body again." He didn't quite believe her, but he remembered the way she said it. So calm, no pressure. When he got home, he pulled out a small notebook and wrote down 3 words: avocado, sweet potatoes, pumpkin seeds. The next morning, he cut half an avocado, sprinkled a bit of sea salt, and ate it slowly with rye bread. 3 days later, he steamed some sweet potatoes, ate them with vegetable soup. A week later, he bought a bag of roasted pumpkin seeds and chewed on them each night before bed. Week 1, nothing changed. He nearly gave up. But week 2, when the cramp came, it was gentler. It didn't shoot pain up his back like before. He started to feel something. Hope. A small flicker of light in the cold night. Week 3. He woke up without that deep ache in his legs. He walked out to the garden without needing to steady himself on the table. Could this really be working, he wondered. A quiet belief began to form. He became more consistent, started writing everything down. Every 3 days he bought avocados and placed them in a separate box in the fridge. He jokingly called it his natural medicine cabinet. Then came week 4, right when the wind changed and the weather turned. The cramps came back harder. It hit him at 3 a.m., and he nearly cried out loud. So that was false hope, he thought. Nothing really changed. He was ready to give up. He cleared out the avocado box, tossed the pumpkin seeds into the trash, and tucked the notebook away in the drawer. But that morning in the mailbox there was a postcard from Joanne. It held just one sentence. Don't stop just because of one bad night. Your body needs time to believe it's being loved again. He froze. His hands trembled. Then slowly he placed the avocado box back in its spot, took out his notebook, and continued. Week 5. The cramps became less frequent, lighter, but he didn't celebrate. He was afraid the hope would break again. Week 6. His legs ached slightly after grocery shopping, but it wasn't as bad as before. He kept going. The body is like train tracks, he wrote in his journal. It needs to be cleaned regularly to stay smooth. Week 7. He woke up, not from pain, not from cramps. He simply woke up, without tightness, without dread. He walked from his bed to the door, opened the old wooden door with its familiar creak, and stood still, bathed in the morning sun, without needing to hold on to anything. The breeze brushed past his shoulders. Sunlight glinted off the worn edges of his soft wool slippers. He didn't move. He just stood there. No one knew I cried, he later said, voice breaking. Not because the pain was gone, But because I knew I had taken back the right to own my body. Harold's story is proof when you stay consistent, when you treat your body with patience, when you don't force it but walk gently with it, your body doesn't betray you. And now let's explore the three foods that helped bring life back to his muscles, calm to his sleep and freedom in his mornings. After hearing that story, you might be wondering, how could something as simple as food help someone like Harold regain control? To answer that, we need to look deeper into each food, not just at its nutrients, but at how it quietly supports your nervous system, your muscles, and even your sleep every night. Let's begin with the first one, a soft, creamy fruit that holds a powerful key to help your body relax and to stop sudden leg cramps. Food number one, avocado, a gentle remedy for your muscles and sleep. Have you ever thought that a creamy, buttery fruit, usually seen as a light breakfast item, might be the very thing that soothes your nighttime cramps and restores energy to your tired legs? It's the avocado, not flashy in color, not overly sweet, yet a truly remarkable gift for older adults. After age 60, the body gradually loses its ability to maintain electrolyte balance, especially two essential minerals, potassium and magnesium. When these are lacking, muscles become overly excitable, leading to cramps, spasms, and stiffness, especially at night or upon waking suddenly. Just half an avocado per day provides around 700 milliliters of natural bioavailable potassium and magnesium without causing bloating or raising blood sugar. That makes it ideal for older adults, especially those with diabetes. But avocado offers more than just minerals. It also contains monounsaturated fats, which help stabilize blood sugar and support heart health, vitamins K, E, and B complex, which help the nervous system function smoothly. Soluble fiber, which improves digestion and boosts nutrient absorption. The magnesium in avocado also supports your nervous system, helping reduce restlessness and insomnia, especially for older adults who struggle with silent anxiety and shallow sleep. It also helps regulate heartbeat, reducing those sensations of palpitations or light trembling when changing positions quickly. How to use avocado. Effectively, slice half an avocado. Sprinkle with a pinch of sea salt and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Mash it and spread it over whole grain toast or warm oats. Blend into a green smoothie with spinach, almond milk, and chia seeds. Important, avoid mixing avocado with sugar or condensed milk. This can disrupt its calming nervous system balancing effect. Suggested intake 1 or 2 avocado per day in the morning or late afternoon, preferably before resting. Remember, avocado isn't a magic cure that ends cramps overnight, but when included regularly in your meals, it becomes the first step in your natural path to recovery. And now let's move on to the second food, a humble root vegetable, warm in color, familiar from countless childhood dinners, but one you may have quietly forgotten. Food number two, sweet potato, a steady fuel source for your muscles. You might think of sweet potatoes as just a humble food, tied to memories of hard times, simple breakfasts, or rainy afternoons when your mother lit the fire. But for older adults, sweet potatoes aren't just memories. They're a steady fuel source that helps keep your legs from tightening up every morning. Sweet potatoes are rich in three valuable minerals, magnesium, potassium, and calcium, a trio that's essential for healthy muscle contraction and relaxation. When even one of these is lacking, the nervous system can send the wrong signals, causing muscles to misfire, resulting in sudden cramps, especially at night. A single 150-200 green serving of roasted sweet potato provides nearly 15% of your daily potassium needs, over 25% of your daily magnesium intake. A dose of naturally absorbable calcium, much easier for your body to use than many supplements. Sweet potatoes also contain slow digesting starch, which helps stabilize blood sugar and prevents those late night dips in glucose, a common cause of nighttime cramps. And in the peel, you'll find beta carotene, the precursor to vitamin A, which supports vision, protects the gut lining, and improves nutrient absorption. A healthier gut means a body that recovers faster, including your muscles and nerves. How to use sweet potatoes. Roast them whole, eat with a pinch of sea salt and a drizzle of olive oil. Mash with turmeric and black pepper. Great for joint support and anti-inflammatory benefits. Dice and toss into a warm salad with spinach, flax seeds, and chickpeas. Frequency 3 to 4 times per week, best in the late afternoon or early evening. Note: avoid frying sweet potatoes or pairing them with sugar or condensed milk. These reduce their anti-inflammatory and electrolyte balancing benefits. Sweet potatoes may seem ordinary, but they can nourish the body from deep within. When included consistently in your diet, it's not just your legs that recover, but your nervous system, digestion, and sleep all begin to improve. We've now talked about avocado gentle, like a comforting hand for the nervous system, and sweet potatoes steady like fuel that feeds each muscle fiber. But there's something even smaller, something you might have pushed aside, thinking it was just a snack. It doesn't look impressive, but inside it holds a concentrated power of recovery, not just for your legs, but for your sleep and for that lingering tiredness after restless nights. That something is the pumpkin seed. Food number 3, pumpkin seeds, small seeds, big impact. There's something often overlooked in the kitchen, tiny, unassuming. Yet it may be the quiet key to deeper sleep and fewer muscle cramps. That something is the humble pumpkin seed. Just a small handful, about 1 ounce or 28 sugar, provides nearly 40% of your daily magnesium needs. A high amount of zinc, which calms the nervous system, improves memory, and stabilizes mood, tryptophan. An amino acid that helps your body make serotonin and melatonin, the 2 relaxation hormones that support restful sleep. What many older adults don't know is this magnesium deficiency is one of the most common causes of leg cramps, especially in people taking diuretics, heart medications, or those with diabetes who tend to lose magnesium through urine. Zinc is just as important. It helps soothe an overactive nervous system, reduces forgetfulness, and softens those feelings of loneliness and irritability, which are all too common after 60. Meanwhile, tryptophan boosts melatonin production, helping regulate your sleep-wake cycle. It doesn't just help you fall asleep, it helps you stay asleep and sleep more deeply without waking in the middle of the night. This is a natural nervous system recovery without pills. How to use pumpkin seeds. Eat raw or lightly roasted, no salt, no oil. Sprinkle over oatmeal salad or mix into yogurt. Eat 1 tablespoon before bedtime as a calming neural switch-off ritual. Pair with dark chocolate, 70% for enhanced relaxation. Pumpkin seeds may be small, but they carry the weight of real healing. When you invite them into your daily rhythm, your body may begin to repair itself quietly, deeply, and without force. We've now explored avocado, gentle like a soft hug for your nerves, sweet potatoes, steady like fuel for every fiber in your legs, pumpkin seeds, small but mighty, calming your nerves and deepening your sleep. Recommended intake: 1 to 2 tablespoons per day, ideally in the evening before bedtime. Important note: avoid prepackaged pumpkin seeds that are heavily salted or processed with industrial fats. They can counteract the benefits and disturb your electrolyte balance. Pumpkin seeds, small, often forgotten, but when used regularly, they can soothe your entire muscular and nervous system, reduce cramps, improve sleep, and help you wake up feeling lighter, calmer, and more at ease. And now that you've learned about these 3 golden foods, there's one more critical thing you need to know, a truth that 90% of older adults often overlook, even after switching to a healthier diet. When I was working in physical rehabilitation classes, I heard this question more times than I can count. I've started eating healthier, so why am I still cramping up? The answer almost always was the same: because your body hasn't had enough time to recover. We often expect quick results, especially when pain, cramps, or sleepless nights have worn us down. But healing, especially after age 60, doesn't come from one big change. It comes from hundreds of small ones, done consistently, gently every day. You might eat avocado once, sweet potato twice, pumpkin seeds for a few nights. But if you stop, your body falls back into the same cycle of depletion. It's like trying to build a house, but laying just a few bricks, then walking away. How could it ever become strong? The truth is this: after 60, your body needs a rhythm, a steady routine, a calm diet, a lifestyle that's not dramatic but deeply persistent. That's how your body's natural repair systems come back online. So try creating a small daily ritual: a slice of avocado after breakfast, a steamed sweet potato in the afternoon, a spoonful of pumpkin seeds before bed. Put that menu on your fridge. Give each item a playful name: strong legs, vitamin; Good sleep, meal, mineral, spoon for my steps. Because when you love something, you care for it every day. And one morning you'll wake up without that fear of standing up. You'll feel your legs respond naturally without hesitation. And you'll know you're coming back to yourself. It won't feel like a miracle because it's not magic. It's the quiet reward of understanding and steadfast care. So if you're still hesitating, if you've tried before but stopped, please don't stop this time. You don't have to change your whole life. You just have to begin again with the little things. And if what I've shared today means something to you, please don't forget. Write down the 3 foods: avocado, sweet potato, pumpkin seeds. Make a simple plan to include them regularly each day and week. Share this video with someone you love. They might need a gentle nudge to begin too. Finally, if you're quietly wondering, is it too late to change at my age? Let me answer with something Mary once told me. I'm not doing this to be young again. I'm doing this so that every day I have left, I can still be myself without needing someone to hold me up. And I truly believe you deserve that too.